Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Kris versus everybody. I'm just going to get right into it. Of course, now we are in World Cup mode around the world. Every 4 years, all the nations around the world, the ones who qualify, get to play for a World Cup title. Now, USA, Mexico, and Canada are the hosts of the World Cup, so they didn't have to qualify. So they're already in. So that's 3 teams already in out of the 48 teams. I'm here today on this episode to talk about what happened on both Friday at 3 p.m., Canada versus Bosnia, and what happened yesterday, Saturday, at 6 p.m., Brazil versus Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen, soccer fans, casual fans, and people who only watch the World Cup every 4 years, can somebody please explain to me what I just watched? We saw 2 ties. Canada versus Bosnia, Brazil versus Morocco. Canada tied 1-1. Brazil tied Morocco 1-1. And before anyone gets upset, let me be clear. Bosnia and Morocco played their hearts out. This isn't me disrespecting them. Morocco made the World Cup semifinals in 2022. So they're already a favorite. So I wasn't expecting Brazil to blow them out, but I expected a better game than what I saw. Bosnia, on the other hand, didn't even qualify last World Cup. But let's talk expectations. Canada is hosting the World Cup. The entire country has been waiting for this moment. You're playing in Toronto, home crowd, home atmosphere. The maple syrup is flowing. The Tim Hortons coffee is hot. The crowd is losing its mind. And then what happens? 1-1 draw. Canada spent most of the game chasing Bosnia, literally, and had to wait until the 78th minute for Kyle Larin, who was a sub, by the way, a sub. That's probably why they were losing. Anyway, but the draw didn't earn Canada its first ever men's World Cup win. Like, can we understand, like, this is the World Cup. This is like the world stage in soccer. And y'all tied to Bosnia. Canada came into this tournament hoping for more than a moral victory. You don't host a World Cup dreaming about ties. You dream about advancing. You dream about making a run. You dream about becoming the next Croatia, Morocco, or South Korea. Instead, Canada walks away from match day 1 saying, well, at least we didn't lose. Let's go over these stats real quick because this is what makes me really mad. Defense. Canada had more tackles, 15/12. Bosnia had more interceptions, so they were just taking the ball from Canada. Bosnia had more recoveries than Canada, 53-51. Bosnia had more duels won, 79-71. More yellow cards than Canada, 3-2, and more fouls committed. Well, that's, yeah, because they were getting frustrated at the end of the game. But that's neither here nor there. My thing is, they had less shots on goal, less possession. Y'all had 2 missed chances. Y'all should have won that game, Canada. Canada is a very disappointing country so far. I hope they keep on going, but that first game was just horrible. Now let's go over to the other team that was a huge disappointment yesterday. Brazil. 5 World Cups. Their last World Cup that they won unanimously was in 2002. The expectation that every tournament begins is with one question: can anyone stop Brazil? Well, apparently Morocco can. Morocco came out and looked like the better team. From the first whistle, they came out looking like the way better team. They took the lead after a goal that was ridiculous. Like, how do you let that go through the back line? And he scooped the ball over the goalie. Easy goal. They had Brazil looking uncomfortable, nervous, and disorganized. And I told the great debaters, I said, you have to give the ball to Vinicius or it's over. And then, of course, they give the ball to Vinicius. He cuts back on his good foot and shoots a rocket into the goal, tie 1-1. But let's be honest, that point felt more like a rescue mission than a statement. Brazil fans expected fireworks. They got concerns. Brazil fans expected domination. They got questions. Brazil fans expected a championship contender. Instead, they got a team that looked vulnerable. Even after the game, the Brazil manager, Carlo Ancelotti, admitted that the team needs to improve and was too nervous and imbalanced in the first half. Yes, they were. Morocco was passing around them so quick that I was like, okay, this has to be. They probably looked at the FanDuel, DraftKings parlays and said, hey, let's fuck with them real quick. That's how bad that looked yesterday. Now, here's the bigger story. The gap between soccer's traditional powers and everybody else keeps shrinking. 20 years ago, a Brazil-Morocco game would have been literally a blowout. 20 years ago, Canada would have expected Bosnia to be a stepping stone. Not anymore. Morocco has world-class players. Bosnia has quality throughout their squads. The rest of the world has caught up. The days when a big-name country could just show up and collect 3 points are disappearing. And that's actually good for the World Cup. But it also means something else. If Canada wants to advance, they can no longer rely on being the host. If Brazil wants to win a 6th World Cup, they can no longer rely on the canary yellow jersey. History doesn't win matches. The anthem doesn't earn points. You still have to play the damn game. So after match day 1, Canada is sitting there saying, we survived. Brazil is sitting there saying, we escaped. Bosnia is sitting there saying, we belong. Morocco is sitting there saying, we might be better than everyone. We might be better than what everyone thinks about us. And for fans hoping for statement victories, yeah, they were very disappointing games. I lost $25 on FanDuel, but that's neither here nor there. Not because soccer was bad, but because the opponents were weak. Canada and Brazil looked weak out there. 2 teams that were expected to make statements ended up making excuses. And in the World Cup, that usually comes back to haunt you later. So we'll see if Canada and Brazil respond in their next matches, or if these draws were the first warning of bigger things and bigger problems to come. And that's been another episode of Kris versus everyone. See y'all next time, hopefully with a better update on these World Cup games.